take the 1891 German play with some very controversial issues and mix it to some indie rock music score, and you've got the smash hit musical Spring Awakening. Now I'm here chatting with two of the stars, Berni and Liam. Hi guys, welcome to the show.
Howdy.
How are you guys?
Good.
You good?
Yeah.
You a bit nervous? I'm absolutely cracking myself. Now, why don't you tell us a bit more about the actual production and the characters you play in the storyline without giving too much away?
Okay, great. You've handballed this to me. I guess Spring Awakening is about, I'd like to say, a group of teenagers who are struggling with, I guess a lot of the issues that teenagers today struggle with. I think that's why it's so relatable. But obviously, it's, wow, I've totally forgotten the date. It's woeful. 1891. It's okay, we can edit this out, right? Berni, I'm going to handball it to you. I'm struggling. Yeah, I'm struggling.
Okay. The musical, I personally love it because it is a very timeless piece, so it's got issues that were prevalent back in 1891, and it's crazy to think that we're still dealing with the same issues now. It's so long ago that it's crazy to think we've still got so many obstacles to overcome. And I think that the show in the end really ends up being about learning the lessons of the people in the play, so that people who come to watch the show don't go through what our characters have gone through. So it's a great piece, and I think it's good for young people to come see it and old people to come see it, because
everyone can relate to it.
Exactly.
Now, what characters do you play?
I play Moritz.
I play Ilsa.
Now, why don't you guys tell our viewers a bit more about your characters?
Well, I play a quite unfortunate young kid. He's best friends with Melchior, who you're obviously about to interview, Alexa. I guess he lives in the shadow of his good friend Melchior, and he never quite reaches the confidence that Melchior has, and unfortunately, he has a pretty tough life. And I guess I think he's so incredibly relatable to so many teenagers in this day and age, because even now there's still the pressures of school that he particularly has. The pressures from his parents to do particularly well and do well in his general life, I guess. But and also just socially, which I think is always relatable to everyone. You're not always going to be the coolest kid in the class.
My character is Ilsa, and she's a bohemian who's run away from home after dealing with some terrible things with her father and just her general family life. I like my character because, unlike Moritz, even though she's very isolated and everything kind of goes wrong for her, she still finds a way to be hopeful and look to tomorrow and remember that there is goodness in the world after all the horrible stuff.
Now, you guys have said that there are some huge issues in the play that are being addressed. How do you think that audiences will react to this stuff?
I think as a modern audience, people will be a lot more open to the issues dealt with, especially when it was first staged in, I think 1907 in New York. It was banned straight away because of what they were going through. And I think that as a modern audience, people will be a lot more open to what we're dealing with. But I think even though, the issues are always on television, always in movies, people are still reluctant to talk about them in an open place. And I think that people will probably still be shocked by some of what happens, but I think definitely a lot more open to discuss it afterwards, which I think is the main point of the show. It should really be discussed afterwards, and it should kind of start a conversation about it.
Well, let's talk about the casting and stuff like that. Have you ever heard of Spring Awakening before this?
I'd heard of Spring Awakening before. I didn't really know anything about it. I'd heard a couple of the songs because Young Australian Broadway Chorus had done some in their shows, so I knew a bit about it. And when I actually auditioned for it, I YouTubed the whole show and watched it all. I was like, I actually understand what it's about. And I was kind of like, well, what are all these random songs? But that's all I knew about it.
And that's pretty much the same as me. I had friends who were obsessed with it, and Alexa, obviously, and in fact, I actually heard about auditioning for it through Alexa. But I YouTubed it, and I heard some of the songs, and it was amazing because, personally, I don't have a huge interest in some of, the less contemporary musical theatre stuff, and then I was instantly drawn to some of these songs, because these songs I would listen to in my playlist anyway, and that's, and I think if you're doing a show where there's songs that you would normally listen to, then, there's obviously no struggle in auditioning for it and I think that's something that I find about the music, is that even my friends who would have kind of issues with musical theatre, or that they are more after like kind of contemporary theatre, I still suggest they come to these kind of things because you know the music is so relatable to even kids these days.
Well, let's actually talk about like music itself. Who are like your biggest inspirations, like both artistically and personal? So like, is it your mum? Is it Lily Allen? Is it Britney Spears?
Definitely Britney Spears.
Definitely Britney Spears.
Who is it? Like,
You go.
Oh wow. I'm a big fan of John Mayer. I'm a big fan of John Mayer and like that kind of music. You know, I guess the kind of contemporary ballads and that kind of stuff. And obviously kind of rockier stuff as well. But and I guess personally, wow, there's so many people that I'm inspired by, and in being around a cast that I think is this talented. I mean, I know that's so like soppy, but I think being around a cast that's this talented and with professionals and stuff, I'm inspired by them every day when I come. Yeah, that was really soppy, but
I did something beautiful. It was really heartfelt. I loved it. Musically, I've got a whole bunch of random musical inspirations. I guess kind of contemporary singers like Regina Spektor. But I really like classic songs. I got a CD for Christmas, which is like all 40s music, so I'm a bit obsessed with that at the moment. Cool. And then I guess people like Jeff Buckley just because of his lyrics. I'm just obsessed. But personally, I'm going to be soppy as well. I would say the cast. Just like, you know, kind of getting the chance to work with such an amazing group of people and you really learn from them every day, you know. And it's
okay, well, thank you guys for talking to us. It's been a huge pleasure. Spring Awakening is showing at the National Theatre from the 27th of Jan to the 5th of Feb. Tickets are available at ticketek.com.au. Go see it. It's going to be a good show. Thank you, guys.
No problem.
Awesome. Cool.
Come see it.
Come see it.
Do it.
Come